Business Development Call from India, and we are going to have a short interaction with him just for Gizbot.com. So, Mr. Sandeep, I would like to ask you that why today, in 2014, you have chosen LG as a brand for LTE expansion in India and also Qualcomm and Airtel.
Yes, absolutely. I think the collaboration that we have with LG and with Airtel that we've witnessed today is of a very unique kind. This is the first time that we are seeing Android smartphones launch with LTE, and we worked extensively with LG over the past several months to bring together the LG G2 LTE smartphone. We've also worked closely with Airtel to ensure that the smartphone has the best-in-class performance and provides end consumers the kind of experience that is, in my opinion, quite honestly mind-blowing. If you've seen the demonstration outside, you can stream HD quality movies to your smartphone over the LTE network, over Airtel's LTE network, and then of course the smartphone is capable enough to then over Wi-Fi show it on a large screen TV set. Tremendous. LG, among many of our other key partners, has been leading the charge on offering LTE smartphones. And Airtel, of course, is the only network at this point in India that is offering LTE in Bangalore. We expect to see many more such launches in other markets as well in India by Airtel and potentially other operators too.
Qualcomm LTE network in India in 2014. How do you plan to expand it, and why is it the right time?
So our role in terms of supporting LTE is really to provide support for operators like Airtel to launch LTE networks. We of course are not launching networks ourselves.
Yeah.
However, I think the role that we have in the development of the ecosystem is, in our opinion, important. And we're doing all that we can to make sure that we collaborate with the likes of Airtel to bring this to Indian consumers at the earliest. 2014, we think, does look bright for LTE. While 3G will strengthen and continue to develop, we will see LTE launches. And now in March, still the beginning of the year, we expect to see a lot more of such launches. This, of course, is a significant milestone, but we will see many such launches in the coming months from LG and many of our other partner OEMs as well.
So you have a partnership with how many global and Indian manufacturers in terms of LTE network and chipset?
So what's happening is that globally we're seeing pretty much all the OEMs, if not all the OEMs, looking at launching LTE smartphones in India. Most of these OEMs have already launched LTE smartphones in global markets. And we believe that that same momentum will continue as they look to launch LTE in India. Launching LTE in India, of course, will require support for the 2300 megahertz band. And then, of course, following the recent auctions of 1800 megahertz, support for 1800 as well. So we expect to see many of these OEMs, like we've seen with LG, launch with LTE in the coming months.
What about tablet as a category? How, as a chipset manufacturer's point of view, you look at that product category, and how do you plan to work on it? Because as per our readers, this is one category in the gadget section which is not giving such a very well response. Let's keep aside the Apple iPads, okay? I'm talking about the Android segments of tablets. As a chipset manufacturer's point of view, how is it working well for you as compared to smartphone business?
Yeah, I think in terms of volumes, and we've seen this globally, the number of unit sales of smartphones is certainly higher than in tablets.
Yeah.
But tablets have become increasingly important in the last few years. And to some extent in India, they've also replaced, in many cases, the use cases that people need, laptops for. So I think there has been a growth in tablets, and in particular with LTE, with the kind of speeds that it offers, for large, large screen content, oftentimes full HD content. With LTE, we should see, some kind of rub off on the tablet side as well, because with these, fatter pipes, you can now begin to use tablets that much more effectively. So we see the tablet segment growing in India, and I think LTE will stimulate that segment to an extent as well.
So one last thing that in India right now 4G LTE network is expanding. Manufacturers like Qualcomm and the ODM, so many ODM people are like investing on that. So is the market booming for you? I mean, you guys are the right people to ask this as you've done so much of R&D. So why should a consumer be lured to buy the 4G LTE enabled devices?
Yeah, so Qualcomm's interest is both in 3G as well as in LTE. We have interest in both segments. And, in terms of the end consumer's need for LTE, I think it's really an extension of what he experiences today already. We're seeing that India as a market is a mobile-first market, right? We have a lot more connections, people connecting to the internet using their smartphones rather than landline connections. Landline connections for broadband are something like 15 million, whereas we have more than, let's say, 15 million install base for smartphone users. So from that perspective, people are beginning to expand from the network side. They have capable smartphones, many of them dual core, quad core, gigahertz plus processors, but they also need the network to complement the power of the smartphone, right? It is important that the internet is not something that they have to be forced to sip, as you would from a straw, right? So you need that to complement the power of the smartphone. So the demand, as people have these smartphones in their hands, they're going to want more of that content being made available on their smartphone stack right away, right? So that internet at the speed of thought is a term that comes to mind. That kind of an experience is what we're trying to enable, and in fact what the LG G2 LTE does enable along with Airtel's 4G LTE network.
Okay. Any news on chipset 610 launch in India?
Yeah, I think that is the Snapdragon 610, which we had recently announced.
Exactly.
I think the plans are still, in terms of devices launching with those chipsets, still a while away. We have other chipsets on LTE that will launch before that. Clearly, I mean, we're expecting to see a lot more launches of LTE smartphones on our 800, 600, and maybe in the future 400 series on LTE.
Maybe the second half of 2014.
I think many of the chipsets will launch in the second half of 2014. Some of them will launch in the first half of 2015 as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Nice meeting you.